Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. We went through the game on the Pacers side yesterday and today I wanted to look at the Miami Heat offense because even though they shot really well and did score some points, I was very concerned with their half-court execution and it was really not very good. They were able to have a lot of transition possessions, more than any other, and that's what helped them to pad some of their stats and make it look a lot better. So I'm going to show you what happened on their half-court sets, plus show you what they usually do really well they didn't go to in this game, to explain why I'm still concerned, even though it's their defense without question, why their offense still needs to get better. The Heat clearly had it in their mind to attack Hibbert by having his man screen the ball as much as possible. With the speed disparity between him and Bosh should have been able to pick and pop all day, but instead he passed up numerous shots so teammates could take them to the detriment of the Heat. But the Heat weren't going to stop screening with his man, and Chalmers found success going right at him. Hibbert really struggled to defend this, and when he sunk way too low against a simple ball screen for Ray Allen, Coach Vogel must have gotten concerned. With only one blocked shot in the game, the Heat didn't seem fazed by his length as Wade attacks him off the Bosh ball screen and scores in the lane. In last year's playoffs, we did a whole breakdown of what they ran on offense and what worked so well. So it's mind-boggling to me why they don't go back to those plays. So in the black and white footage, I'm going to show you what they did last year that worked really well, and then we'll show you what they did this year in comparison. The basic movement in Horns is an entry pass to the high post. The point guard goes to the weak side and screens the man in the corner. LeBron can curl to the rim or get a staggered double screen from Haslam. This becomes a pick and roll out top and enough movement to free up Chalmers in the corner. They disguise Horns a little bit with Wade cutting to the top to receive the first pass. This becomes a clever double ball screen for Wade, who gets into the lane and gets a layup. If the weak side guard in the corner cuts to the hoop, this becomes a flex action with Chalmers supposed to downscreen for LeBron, who does get a good look at a three. The Heat also use it to get LeBron James a post up by initially going away from him. He simply jogs across the baseline to get low post position and isolates on Paul George. They love to get Ray Allen in the corner and go to the high post on his side. Cole sets a pin down and James pitches it to him. Birdman comes over for a third screen. If there's no shot, Allen can find LeBron, who simply attacks the basket and Paul George's face. While this might not look like Horns, it is. LeBron just cut backdoor first. In this wrinkle, LeBron backscreens Chalmers, then gets the ball and a screen from Haslam. In Horns, the ball screener is always the most dangerous man since there's enough movement that the weak side doesn't pick him up very often. Now, let's look at yesterday's game with LeBron on the left elbow out of Horns. On this play, the point guard goes to the weak side to screen, then runs pick and pop action out of the corner for a nice baseline jumper. On the very next possession, they go away from LeBron and completely miss him on a nice backdoor cut. Swinging it to Wade, Lance is able to coax an offensive foul from the ref. You've seen all the great action they've gotten out of Horns in the past, yet these two were the only two Horns possessions they ran all night. Another set the Heat ran so well was having Ray Allen set a ball screen, then immediately getting a flare screen so he can spot up from the wing for a three. Sometimes it's effective without even setting the flare screen for him, as he can get a driving lane when the defense closes out. This action puts so much pressure on the defense, it often opens up driving lanes for guys like Dwayne Wade. Yesterday, the Pacers tried to get smart with this play when they put David West on Ray Allen and had him get on the high side, anticipating the flare cut for the three. Ray reads this perfectly and cuts back door, and Wade hits him for the layup. And they ran this exactly one more time immediately after. But Ray doesn't make contact on his screen. LeBron is not effective at all setting his flare screen. The counter is for LeBron to get the high post pass, which almost gets stolen. Then LeBron almost travels on his drive. Before the ball gets whipped around the perimeter, the defense gets collapsed, and the Heat get an easy tip in. As a sideline out of bounds play mostly, the Heat like to flash LeBron to the free throw line and have a back screen set on the weak side. When run correctly, and the defense is played poorly enough by Stevenson, it gets them a gorgeous play for a layup. If they don't get the cut to the basket, the screener opens up to the ball and they run a two-man game. Screen and roll turns into a drive-in dish from Cole to Bosch. If the cutter doesn't get the pass, and man was he open again, the ball goes back to the screener, who then has the option of isolating against his man while everyone else spots up. LeBron also has the option of ignoring that back screen and just going to the hoop off the flash, hoping to catch the defense off guard. They also have LeBron get the back screen, and while Chalmers tries to set the normal ball screen on him, LeBron has the option of waving him off and isolating on his man. I hope you see why this is such a viable set in the Heat's playbook, yet they did not run it once all game. Not once. Instead, the Heat seemed happy to run very non-clever sets that had little to no secondary action once the first cut was made. And when going up against a terrific defense like Indiana's, you need to get more clever, not less. They weren't sharp, their spacing was way off, they miss open cutters only to force isolation shots with a high degree of difficulty. Without a purpose on offense, the Pacers were able to push the Heat farther out on the perimeter where the shot clock became the Heat's enemy. On some of these possessions, the Heat looked like a bunch of guys who just met for pickup at the Y. Some of their alignments were simply unrecognizable to any normal offense, and their shots reflected the disorganization. The bottom line, you can't attack this defense individually, and the Heat were woefully unprepared. So there you have it, sports fans. Watching the half-court sets and how they were attacking, I think it's pretty clear why there was such a huge disparity in free throws, and why they simply didn't shoot nearly as many as the Pacers, because with those sets, they weren't getting to the basket and taking shots that would get them fouls. And that is actually a big deal, because had they been able to get some of those and score without the clock running, who knows, maybe they get back in that game. Well, thanks for joining us. Lots more coming up. Can't wait for the post-game show coming up after Game 2 on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You win,